Blue Lock chapter 338 has just released. Hugo continues to explain his philosophy, finally getting his aura design revealed, and a flashback on top of that. We get another week of Isagi struggling. Blue Lock is desperately fighting back as the first half of the France game has concluded with one of the best cliffhangers we've gotten so far. I can't say much without spoiling it. All I can say is that this is the best chapter of the France game so far, so let's not waste any time and jump into it quick. The chapter picks up with Hugo continuing his conversation with Isagi. He tells him, listen up, Isagi Yoichi, and he'll tell him about his second best ego. One page in, and Isagi is already clenching his teeth. He does not want to hear a single word coming out of this guy's mouth. Isagi for real needs to take off the translation earbuds, and we'd see him back in his prime. Itoshi Rin is on Loki, but he blocks him and actually passes it away, dodging the fade. And not gonna lie, so far, we haven't really seen much of Loki, but we shouldn't judge too quick. The ball ends up going to Hugo, who continues to talk while keeping the ball. He tells Isagi, in the first place, being number 2, he thinks it's just someone who couldn't become number 1, right? He then holds out his hand like a damn traffic officer and continues telling Isagi that's where he's wrong. And I mean, peep Isagi's face, mans is beyond stunned, which is a common theme for this chapter. Hugo then says, you guys are just conditioned to believe that you have to be number 1. He's being brainwashed by that bowl cut for eyes. So Hugo throwing ego strays now. And you know Isagi ain't gonna let someone talk about his dad like that. So he tells him to shut up and be quiet. He doesn't want to hear it. Not his twisted personal theories. Hugo is doing everything in his power to do the complete opposite though, still dribbling past Isagi and asking him, the way he uses his talent, doesn't he ever feel like it's such a waste? This confuses Isagi, who just says, huh, while we see Barou, Yukimiya, and Hiyori as a thought. And bruh, they did Barou so dirty. Like they chose his worst look of all time from the first selection, pre-glow up and everything. Kaneshiro for real playing favorites, you can just tell. Anyways, Hugo says, ever since I can remember, it has always been this way. Which you already know means we're about to get a flashback. And whoop-de-doo, what do you know? We see Lil Hugo looking fresh in what seems to be a classroom of some sort. But while everyone is playing with their numbers and whatnot, Hugo is just standing there. He questions why everyone, without properly knowing themselves, want to do things they can't do. They live their lives craving things that are out of their reach, and it just makes him itch. Hugo continues talking about himself, saying, when I see humans failing because their talents and self-image are unaligned, it makes me want to correct their mechanisms. I was naturally gifted with that sensitivity, I just can't help it. We also see Hugo with a bunch of cogs behind him, bro really adopting the Yuji Itadori mindset, but the cogs are important for later, so keep that in mind. We jump back to the present, and Hugo continues to explain that's why he tells everyone he meets, if he does it like this, you'll get so much better. Mid-conversation though, Hugo is still crossing up Isagi and nutmegs him getting a pass off to Charles, which might be one of the most atrocious acts of disrespect. Bro casually hitting passes while lecturing him. He gives more examples saying, if you do it like this, you can be that guy. Or if you do it like this, you'll be more popular. Even going as far to say, if you do it like this, you'll be more loved. And Isagi, like the rest of this chapter, is absolutely disgusted hearing these words coming from Hugo's mouth. You would think Hugo was talking about some vile stuff with the face Isagi is making here, because bro is grossed out, saying, what the hell is that? He's just a self-centered meddling nuisance. And I won't lie, even though Isagi is getting cooked, there is truth to what he's saying. It's not like anyone is asking for Hugo's advice, yet he's still pushing his ways onto them. But Hugo understands this himself, saying, yeah, exactly. This is something I want to do, so it's fine if I'm hated for it. It's not charity, but it's not spreading malice either. Which has me hella dead. Hugo is self-aware, intruding into people's business, yet he doesn't care. He wants to share his opinion no matter what. If that's the case, Hugo would be one of those friends who keep it real with you and doesn't sugarcoat it at all. So if that's not your cup of tea, you gotta approach bro with a 6-foot stick. Jumping back into it, we see Charles hit another pass back towards Hugo, and the man chest traps it. While still dropping dialogue, by the way. Like, this is insane to me. He's been doing this the whole time. time. Hugo then self-glazes, saying fate changes by the simple fact of meeting me. And creating that kind of person is irresistibly interesting. And Isagi, no! Hugo got bro in the Michael Jackson position, leaning forward and everything. And him being absolutely shocked, he says this guy is a little like me, while it flashbacks to the Nigeria game with Onazi and Isagi motivating him too. To break this down because it's a little confusing, Isagi evolves people by motivating them to do it themselves. That's what we saw with Onazi, but Hugo just straight up points out their flaws like with Isagi. In the end though, they're both technically helping and evolving them, and that's why Hugo's character is very interesting, because it's not like he's 100% wrong. He's still helping others, and he even asks Isagi, that's the joy of living, right? Hugo continues saying, as for him, Isagi Yoichi, he wants to know the meaning of why he was born into this world. Yet again, Isagi is still getting cooked as Hugo goes on past him, and this chapter has just been an Isagi humiliation ritual. We are all feeling like this. We see the rest of the blue lockers panicking, with Ryo saying watch the pass, Aiku saying he's free, and Karasu saying he can see it. Hugo then continues that his talent is suitable for changing others to make the world turn, so he's never once wanted to be a striker. And as the second best and as a midfielder, he wants to win the World Cup. Loki is being covered by Karasu while Aiku is watching Charles, with Hugo asking Isagi if he knows what the record for the most World Cup titles in human history is. He says it's 3 times, the record being held by the king of football, Pele, as we see Loki say, come on Hugo, heading towards the goal. Charles sneaks on behind Aiku as well, saying just kidding, this way, and we see Hugo's eyes change for the first time, looking like that gear cog shape. He starts off saying that's why he wants to win the World Cup 4 times. As we see his cog aura coming off of him, getting ready to kick the ball. Even if you're a Hugo hater, you can't deny that this aura is straight heat. They have everyone fitted up this game. First Karasu and now Hugo. And to everyone's surprise, Hugo kicks the ball going for a shot, saying he'll become a legend of humanity. And this has me flabbergasted. The ball even has a gear aura too. Hugo's eyes are no longer emotionless, and both Karasu and Loki are stunned seeing Hugo shoot. Karasu dialogues saying what, and that Hugo took all the past courses his teammates created and turned them into decoys. Somehow, Loki got treated as a decoy too for Charles' goal, so I can't help but think this is their strategy. Anyways, as the ball heads towards the goal, it's left to Gagamaru to block it. As he reaches for it, he comments, so it was Hugo who went for the shot, with the next page showing Hugo scored the second goal for France. And bruh, it's actually time to pack our bags. Long story short, it's over. The midfielders have scored on us, and Loki has still yet to get a shot off. Who would have thought Hugo gets a goal before Julian Loki of all people? Hugo really proving why he's a new gen. And don't go judging Loki too quickly, y'all, because once Loki actually gets his time to shine, the last bit of hope we didn't even know we had will be gone. Loki will return in Avengers Doomsday. Anyways, this brings France back into the lead against BLUELOCK, and we see the French fans celebrating. Isagi is also in awe, just saying it's huge. So that's Hugo's dream. It's not a matter of being number 1 or number 2 anymore. I won't lie, folks, Isagi definitely got embarrassed here, like he was the one who was supposed to be on Hugo. Yet he got him at every twist and turn. Also, Nico just simply got erased from fiction, and Rin, after the 1v1 with Loki, got the milk. There were too many missing BLUELOCK players here, so you can just tell BLUELOCK is struggling. We get more Isagi dialogue on Hugo's goal, though, with him glazing Hugo like he's this universe's Marlin. He says his dream is bigger. Glaze. He's smarter. Glaze. And he's even more egotistical than me. Glaze. But there is a hell of a lot more to analyze on this page, because we see the ref blow the whistle, and that marks the end of the first half for the France game, which should be an amazing sign for everyone, because we got a lot to address, gang. Ego was taking strays from Hugo, and he has yet to comment on anything. Potential subs and new strategies. I just know the locker room is about to be heated, and reading that will be a fantastic time. That's where we get our popcorn, folks. That's not all though, y'all. Hugo uses his goal to further his point, telling Isagi, even with this, do you still hate being the second best? With his gear aura appearing on him, replacing his eye, and even seeing his aura coming off the other eye. But folks, I don't think any of y'all are ready for this chapter's cliffhanger. This is absolute cinema, and I know everyone will be jumping out of their seats. We see Jinpachi Ego with the text of the U20 World Cup, third match, Japan versus France, end of first half. He's talking to someone saying, get ready, you're going in from the second half. Shido and Barou appear with Ego saying double joker. Oh my god. The Zesty Demon and the King have finally appeared. It's time for the duo to save the Blue Lock Society. We've been waiting. People have been saying Shido will play, no Barou will play, but it's both the double jokers. I've literally prayed for times like this. We are witnessing history here, folks. The first time in a Blue Lock history, Barou and Shido will share a pitch. It's been since August 2023 since Barou last scored. And you just know whenever Shido's here, he's gonna score some devious goal too. So it looks like we have a fighting chance against this champion team. The chapter ends with Shido smiling, Barou having a serious face, and the double jokers are finally in. I was not joking when I said this is the best chapter of the France game, maybe even the best chapter of the U20 World Cup so far, and now there is so much to talk about. Isagi still struggling, Hugo's philosophy and goal, halftime is here, of course, Barou and Shido subbing in. Let's start with what everyone is talking about, the Barou and Shido sub. Now, I honestly thought we were gonna get baited by Kaneshiro because he's baited us before. I didn't think he was gonna sub on both of them, but he is showing us that we're pulling out the big guns. If France is pulling out all the stops, we will too. Now the question is, who will they sub in for? I think so many different players could get subbed off, but off the top of my head, Karasu is sounding like someone Ego would sub off because his mentality isn't aligning one-to-one to Blue Lock. We also saw him argue with Isagi, and this could be the result of it. And that would be a damn shame because the Blue Lock civil war would explode even more. Karasu being singled out just because his thought process isn't the same, even though he made an assist and helped Blue Lock. Like I said earlier though, I really do feel like any of these characters have a good chance at getting subbed out, which is a good thing for this manga. Usually the subs would be predictable throughout Blue Lock. Like for example, Atoya did nothing in the U20 arc, so everyone expected him to get out. But in this case, you have multiple players like Bachira or Chigiri being locked down, players like Isagi being ineffective, or clashing philosophies like Karasu. It makes it all a very difficult choice. To address some of them, I've seen some people say Bachira might be getting subbed out because he got his time in the Nigeria game. He's getting locked up now, and Barou and Shido can easily replace his position. Big guys like Rin and Isagi are also being considered as well. Because Rin and Isagi are both forwards, of course, Barou and Shido would replace them. Now, Rin, even though he's my favorite character, I can't lie that he's only done a little bit this game. Like, he did all right getting a shot attempt off, but he ghosted this chapter for surely. And Isagi's been ineffective since the start of this game because Hugo has been locking him down, Charles has been locking him down, he's taking emotional shots. So from a football stance specifically, it makes sense to sub him out. But from a narrative stance and a Blue Lock specific stance, I still think Isagi will play to use this game as a learning opportunity. He needs to still prove Hugo's philosophy wrong and fight back. So you can see how it's both a good and bad decision to keep Isagi in. And that's what Kaneshiro has been narratively building up. Because now that will make a spark in the Blue Lock community, with people who say that Isagi should be kept in, and then people saying that Isagi should be subbed out. As well as just in Blue Lock as well, because Karasu in the locker room will 100% say Isagi is ineffective, so why are we not subbing him out? He couldn't stop Hugo's goal or anything. This halftime will really set the tone for the rest of the U20 World Cup and for the rest of Blue Lock, so this next chapter is super important. We will get Ego dialogue, Karasu and Isagi dialogue, the double jokers talking as well. I do want to see some Barou and Isagi interactions, their banter, because it's been a long time since we've seen that, as well as Isagi and Cheeto, because we haven't really seen that, and I think Cheeto's gonna have a big role. And it's not just Blue Lock going all out. Obviously, Hugo scored a very unexpected goal, but we have yet to see Loki and him score. So if we're predicting that both Barou and Cheeto will get a goal, then I think Loki is gonna be scoring a multiple or more than one. We're gonna see a very back and forth high goal game, which I think will be very exciting. But anyways, that about wraps it up for this video though. Thank you all so much for watching as always. Leave any thoughts you have down below, any theories on the double jokers, who do you think is getting subbed out and whatnot. YouTube really thinks you'd like this video right here, so be sure to check that one out too. If you made it to the end, I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one.